What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Ripper, entitled Experiment of Existence. This is released on Unspeakable Axe Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Talagante, Chile, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very technically sound, traditional, futuristic style of both death metal and thrash metal. Yeah. Ripper are one of those bands that really know how to pay homage to the death metal and thrash metal bands of the late 80s and early 90s. Sepultura, Creator, Dark Angel. Bands of that heavy sort of influence lie within a band like Ripper, and in 2014, it showcased not only what type of potential a band like this had, but pretty much everything that this band had done previously in the form of their early demos. Of course, the 2014 release I'm talking to is their debut full-length Raising the Corpse. Really technically sound musicianship, great vocals, great ideas, great deliveries. This is a band that really took their craft very seriously, and they delivered a very memorable debut. Now we have a brand new full-length from Ripper entitled Experiment of Existence. It's 11 tracks, and it clocks in at around 45 minutes in length, and pretty much this band took everything that they had on their first album, and they improved things a lot tenfold here. Better production, better musicianship, better storytelling aspects. There's just a lot to enjoy here, and it's quite fitting that a band like this is named Ripper, because the minute you listen to this album, you feel like you're going to have your head ripped off by the sheer amount of craziness that goes on here. Like I said, this is a band that is very technically sound when it comes to delivering their music, and you can tell from the minute you hear the opening riffs of the song Magnetic Solar Storms. This is a band that really takes songwriting very nicely. Great guitar playing, great riffs, lots of memorable lead-ins to be found here on a record like this. Going on to later tracks like Stellar Evolution and the Alpha Orionis. Just some really, really awesome guitar playing going on here. The riffs are sensational. The solos are timed perfectly. These are solos that mean something. They don't just get added on into the song for no particular reason. They have a place and a purpose, and I think that these solos sound phenomenal. They really show you how deep of a death and how deep and influential both death metal and thrash metal are to a band like Ripper. The big highlight to me of this entire release is the bass guitar. Very clear, crystal clear sound to be heard on here. Very fluid, very natural sounding bass guitar riffs. It's really a joy to listen to this bass guitar get an equal amount of opportunities to be heard as the main riffs and guitars on here. There's even a track on here called Chromatic Fantasy, which is pretty much a minute-and-a-half long bass solo. It really sounds wonderful to listen to, and it serves as a great balance between all of the hecticness and fast paces that go on this Experiment of Existence record. This bass guitar tone is incredible. It's probably one of the best you'll hear this year. I mean, besides the Cathedalist record, I would say that an album like this gives the bass guitar parts a run for its money, I would say. Moving on to the drums, there's really never a dull moment to be had here with the drumming on here. Very relentless breakneck speeds, great thrash beats, great fills and drum rolls, a lot of great memorable moments to be heard on here. Just like the typical thrash metal sort of build-ups you get on an album like this. You get the little bits of mid-paced startups, and then once things get faster, there's no holding back. The fast parts really do hold your attention, and it really does sound wonderful to listen to. And the vocals are great too. Very well worded and understood. There's that small touch of reverb to be found in the vocal department. Once again, citing the late 80s and early 90s death and thrash sort of influences you would get from a band like Ripper. And the vocals sound really awesome too. I love the storytelling aspects of this release. I love the vocals. I love the delivery of things. Just manic and chaotic. That's what it feels like when you listen to the vocals of this record. So overall, Experiment of Existence is Ripper continuing to form their own name and identity within the underground with their music. I feel that in the few releases that they've put out, in the body of work they've already made, they're slowly continuing to establish themselves as a very key sort of force within death metal and thrash metal. And this is a very memorable release, to say the least. I mean, probably, like I said, some of the best bass guitar playing you'll hear on any sort of release this year, seconded maybe to my favorite release of this year, the Cathedalist album. Great memorable riffs all the way throughout, awesome vocals, just a very tight-knit sort of package, and for a 45-minute record, this goes by smoothly, and I love that about this album. So, if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Magnetic Solar Storms, Anthropophagic Life. There's an instrumental track on here called Anatomy of the Galaxies. That instrumental is a showcase as to how great these musicians are. The Alpha Orionis, and the closing track, Humanity Was Wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a link in the description box to the Unspeakable Axe Bandcamp page where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can buy it digitally, and it is also available physically in a wide multitude of formats: CD, cassette tape, and a very gorgeous looking vinyl version that's out. I think it's like a clear frost with brown and green sort of splatter. Yeah, any means of physical purchasing for this album is a must. So again, the album is Experiment of Existence by Ripper. This is released on Unspeakable Axe Records. Go support this. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very strong 8.5 out of 10. Very awesome death thrash. Ripper know exactly what they're doing, and they bring you a really, really great time. So, if you've happened to have heard this album, let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it, and sound off in the comments, and we can have a discussion about it. So, I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army Ho out.